Hello and welcome to Tupike Kikwetu. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are making omena. I don't know the English name, but my mom calls them schoolgirls. So today we are making schoolgirls. It's a type of fish. For those who haven't eaten it, it's a type of fish that is very small, but it's still fish. So we have a special way of preparing. This is a Kenyan meal, a typical Kenyan meal. So let's get started. You have to have your omena with you. You remember I showed you how to clean them in the first video. If you don't remember, go back, watch the first video, see how you can clean them and how you can remove the smell from them. We also have onions. We are not going to use a lot of onions. This is one onion. We also have two crushed tomatoes. You don't need a lot of tomatoes. We have spices. This is cardamons. We have curry powder, fish masala, black pepper and salt. We are going to shallow fry our fish. I usually use vegetable oil because it's cheaper to deep fry with, and also you're going to use it again. So it's better to use vegetable oil than sunflower oil or whichever oil you use. Okay, so welcome. Let's start by shallow frying our fish. So first we're going to dry our frying pan, then put in our oil. Not too much oil. Remember, we are shallow frying, so in shallow frying you don't need a lot of oil, just enough. So we're going to let up. So for this recipe you need to wash your fish early enough, wash your omena early, so that it may drip the water. You want it to dry enough to deep fry, so make sure you wash it earlier and put it somewhere where it can dry out, so that when you put it inside the oil, it doesn't have too much water. Our oil is hot enough. Now we can put in the fish. So now we are going to let the omena cook slowly, and also we want it to turn into a golden color. Okay, so you just cook it the way you deep fry fish. It's the same way. We want it to change color and turn to golden brown. So you need to turn them gently so that they don't squeeze themselves, and the oil is very hot, so you need to be careful. So just make sure you turn them so that the other side can cook also. So now our omena is ready. You see they're brown, they're turning into a golden brown color. Because we're still continuing to cook, we're going to drain this oil. Okay, I'm going to use the same frying pan. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drain this oil so that we might reduce it. It's too much. The oil is too much, so we need to drain it. So I'm going to drain it. You need to leave behind a little oil. You see the amount I've left, just a little oil to fry the onions. And now at this stage you're going to reduce the heat, reduce it down to low. So then we're going to add our onions and start cooking. So make sure you leave behind just a little amount of oil just to fry the onions. Remember, omena is still fish and fish has its own oil. So if you leave a lot of oil behind, it's going to be uneatable. And also you've noted the onions, we've cut them into small pieces. So don't ring them or half them, just do the small pieces. Now we're going to leave our onions to be translucent, but always keep stirring, because there's not enough oil on the pan, it's going to burn. So keep turning them. With this recipe you're going to be doing a lot of turning. So I prefer using the same pan that I've deep fried in, instead of transferring it to a sufuria or another cooking item. We want the onions to be translucent. So now we're going to put in our salt and spices. Remember, as we say always, your spices need to cook. Okay, if you're using spices, that is. If you're not using spices, it's okay. It's still going to turn out very well. So just continue turning and turning and turning. Now you see our pan is completely dry. So now we are going to add in the tomatoes because we don't want our fish to burn. Put in your blended tomatoes. If you don't have a blender, you can use a grater instead. You can grate your tomatoes if you don't have a blender. So we are going to cook it until it dries out. You see the tomatoes has some water. So we want to cook until that water disappears. We want the fish dry. So for this recipe, you're going to eat it very dry. So let's give it a minute for the water to evaporate. So you see it's drying out, it's continuing to dry out. So just keep stirring. We don't want it to burn. So that's why it's important to shallow fry them so that they harden up. Because when you turn them, they're still okay, they're still in good shape. So now our food is ready. Because now there's no water, it's just oil. What you're hearing is oil, not water. It's dry enough. So now we're going to put them into a serving dish. Fish is ready. We're going to serve it with ugali. But now it's ready. You can take it to the dining table. Also, something I wanted to mention is about the oil. You see the oil is too much. Don't throw it away. This is a lot of oil. It can cook next time. So what I do is I cool it down. Then I put it in another container. I reuse it for omena, purposely for omena. If you wanted to use it for something else, you can use it with sukuma wiki. It goes very well. But don't throw your oil away. You can still use it again. So let's serve our fish. Here we have it, our second omena recipe. I'm serving it with ugali and steamed cabbage. So thank you so much for being with us. Please go back, watch the first recipe, and also you'll find the way of cleaning omena and getting rid of the smell in the first video, the very first video that we launched this channel with at PK Kikwetu. So search it, get more information from there, and then add to what we have done today. Thank you so much. See you on Monday.